It's weird, this version of Finn Balor. He's got that stupid smile on his face, and then he gets on the rope and he's got the panning crotch shot. Like that was part of the entrance, his little panning
I'm
crotch
thinking
shot.
great. John Jones, Tyson Fury, hell, even Steven Seagal is going to be playing wrestler. This piece of shit spends 2, maybe 3 minutes looking around in the crowd while these morons chase him around with their phones. Then he picks some little girl that just so happens to be wearing Nike gym pants to wrestle with him. And then Strowman won, and it turned out the little girl's name was Nicholas.
Yes. One does the worm. I guess he hurt himself because he was limping. He had to hold on to the barricade to get back
And
to
the lights go off. And out comes Elias. He asked the crowd if they were expecting somebody else. He's like, but that somebody else doesn't have the athletic talent and charisma that Elias does. This is Killer Shane. So he beats the fuck out of Owens and Zayn effortlessly at first. And he would have had them if he wasn't wrestling with an umbilical hernia.
Before they ruined him, that's what he used to have as Shinsuke.
That's what I wrote down. It was nice seeing Nakamura taken seriously before he becomes another warm body on the roster.
You know, she's the baddest woman on the planet. So they square off. Triple H, she's getting ready. Ronda Rousey, she's ready. And then Fist of Fury. Too much for Triple H to handle.
And this week is WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans, Louisiana. Started off with generic female soul singers singing America the Beautiful, as is tradition. And they look like dollar store versions of Brandy and Monica. Dust off that reference.
Well, what's bigger about them, I don't know the exact verbiage, something about them being the face of music or the new face of music or something like that. How'd that work out for them? Because I haven't heard them since and I don't know their name now. So
Yeah.
how'd that
And this was
work out?
2018, so it wasn't like it was, 20 years ago.
Yeah, they're introduced as like, oh, they're widely regarded as the new face of music or some shit like that.
Well, then they queef out a sorry excuse for a WrestleMania hype video. I might have to go back, but this might be the first hype video that didn't at least try to give you a stiffy over the main event. This was nothing. It was just a bunch of headshots.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't remember seeing the tease either.
We have Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Jonathan Coachman on commentary. It's nice seeing Graves before the cynicism kicks in.
Yeah. Platinum hair or whatever the hell that was.
Yeah, there's a lot of product. So Seth Rollins versus The Miz versus Finn Balor started everything off. It was for the Intercontinental Championship. It's a good old triple threat match. John Cena is sitting ringside because he didn't get his WrestleMania moment. So he's going to enjoy the show as a fan or something. And Rollins came out with the Game of Thrones theme attire. Still more heterosexual than anything he's doing today. And Balor came out.
Balor Club is for everyone. Something else, Finn Balor. You know, this was also, as you saw his entrance, I don't know, it was just weird, this version of Finn Balor. He's got that stupid smile on his face, and then he gets on the rope and he's got the panning crotch shot. Always happens, by the way. Like that was part of the entrance, his little panning crotch shot. And then, yeah, the rainbow.
That was distracting. Not because of the rainbow, it's just all the colors. It's just very distracting.
Well, that's when they were really putting over the Balor Club is for everyone, whatever that meant.
Oh, you know what it meant. So it starts off with Balor appropriately grabbing Miz from behind in a German suplex position. Then the one guy would roll out of the ring while the other two would have a match. Miz is using the figure four as a finish now. Flair gave it to him for some reason. At this stage of his career, Flair gave the Miz his figure four. And he gets Balor in the figure four. Rollins breaks it up with a frog splash, which should have been the finish, but of course. And then Rollins gets Miz with a buckle bomb, tries a Falcon Arrow to Balor. Balor counters with a small package. Rollins kicks out and Miz hits the skull-crushing finale for 2, of course. And Miz and Balor go up top. Rollins goes up top too. Miz hits Rollins with the skull-crushing finale from the top rope. Miz goes for the pin, and then Balor hits him from behind with the coup de grace. And then Balor does his highlight moves to Miz and hits another coup de grace. And Rollins comes out of nowhere, curb stomps Balor onto Miz, and curb stomps Miz 1, 2, 3. I thought this was a very lazy triple threat match, and I'm glad Balor lost.
But he's for everyone. Everyone.
Well, Charlotte had a video package. So Charlotte is the cream of the crop in the WWE Women's Division. Newcomer Asuka is undefeated, and she won the Royal Rumble and chose Charlotte for the WrestleMania match. Charlotte says she's got to break Asuka's streak and make her bow to the queen. And Asuka says Charlotte might be the queen, but Asuka is the empress who bows to no one. I thought that was a great line, but I think it was a crime that they've always let Asuka do that dumbass promo delivery where she dances and smiles and sings songs. It's like, I'm the empress, and she's dancing. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So then we got Asuka and Charlotte for the girls' belt. And Charlotte stole Triple H's entrance from WrestleMania 30. She has a badass theme song, though. It slaps. I don't know why she fucking changed it.
I don't think she had a say in it. It is being deaf rebelled, as they call it nowadays.
Randy got to keep his theme.
Oh, that's Randy Orton.
Kevin Owens kept his theme.
That's Kevin Owens. You're talking about people who have more,
Then Charlotte Flair.
I guess.
Well, I enjoyed the start of the match. There was a lot of back and forth. Charlotte tried to turn some weird split move into figure 8 right away. Then she strutted like Flair. Asuka didn't back down and kicked Charlotte right in the face. Then they showed Cena sitting in the stands again. Looked like he was holding a beer, and he tried to hide it. Asuka must have gotten some pointers from Killer Shane because she caught Charlotte from a moonsault with a Hell's Gate. And Charlotte just turns it into a Boston Crab. It was all fine and dandy after all that. Then Charlotte hits a Spanish fly from the top rope for 2. Goes for natural selection. Asuka counters, stretches Charlotte with some painful submission. And of course, Charlotte is immune to submissions and just escapes, goes for a figure 8. Asuka blocks it and goes for a crossface chicken wing. But Charlotte blocks that. She hits the spear for 2 after Asuka shouted for no reason. She's just, ah! But it's not enough for Charlotte to break the streak with a spear. She has to make a rising star tap out like a bitch to a figure 8. And then they had the nerve to get the crowd reactions like they did for Taker and Brock because the streak snapped. Come on. Fuck whoever thought of that.
Yeah, it wasn't that shocking, but this was 700, 900 days, something like that. This is the longest streak. You could say it's more impressive than the Undertaker streak. Some could say that.
Oh, fuck you. No, it's
I said
not.
some could say that.
No one can say that with a straight face. First of all, she's in the girls' division. It's not that hard to make somebody undefeated for 700 days.
That is a long time. Man or woman, it's just a long time to be undefeated.
I agree, but I mean, it's not impressive with what she has to work with. She beat Alexa Bliss. She kicked one of the Bella's ass. Is Alicia Fox still there? Oh, Candice LeRae.
Well, this was in NXT, so she was beating the likes of Mickie James, Nikki Cross. One of my favorite matches was against Ember Moon, who was also undefeated. Asuka actually had to cheat to beat Ember Moon because she was that close to ending the streak. Again, Ember Moon was...
So they carried over the win streak from NXT?
Yeah, that was her first loss. She had come to the sign of the ink.
Then that makes Charlotte beating the streak even less impressive then. If all her wins were in NXT under developmental,
yeah, from what her...
and she's not on the main roster for very long and then she loses, then that just means she's a big fish in a small pond.
Well, it was shocking.
Not shocking enough to get fucking crowd reactions like it was Brock Lesnar and Undertaker.
Maybe.
Definitely not.
Clearly, that was a smart crowd. They knew what was going on in NXT.
That still was not a moment that needed crowd reaction shots.
Let's disagree. I think it was a big moment, and it was shocking. So getting reactions on something as shocking as that, like even when Goldberg lost, I don't even know if they did it because we haven't seen it yet. So
we may see a crowd throw garbage.
Oh, that was different times back then. Yeah, there were big garbage stores back then. I don't even think you can do that nowadays, but I don't know, when a long streak is just broken like that, especially a streak like that, because we're talking the longest, so it is a big moment. And of course, they had to give it to Charlotte Flair. And remember, in the promo thing, she said, I need this to make my legacy. Okay, Charlotte. I think you're saying that now, too. I need this to complete my legacy or whatever.
Isn't she already like the 10-time champion by this point?
It's up there, yeah.
I don't know.
And then poor Asuka had to try to put Charlotte over after it.
Oh, she fucking cried and they hug this fucking goddamn match. Asuka said she was ready for her.
Yeah, because her whole thing is no one's ready for Asuka. And then they made this poor girl with her broken English get on that mic. Like, Vince gave her this line. All right, you practice this. You might win though, but just practice.
I think this would have worked a whole lot better if Asuka was like a badass monster, like a Zeus or King Kong Bundy, instead of just crying girls in a lackluster moment because they're too lazy to build a proper story.
And that's why we'll revisit this when Goldberg loses.
Well, then a ref comes out to whisper something into Cena's ear in the crowd. Then Cena hauls ass past Charlotte to the back. After that, nobody gave a shit about the girls' match. It was all about Cena, which I kind of felt bad for Charlotte. She, had her big moment, and then nobody gave a shit after Cena.
That's because people were so upset that this happened. Oh, they built Asuka up only for it to be Charlotte Flair to take her down.
Well, who else would it have been?
I don't know. Not Charlotte. That's the first thing. Asuka should have won the match. Whenever she loses the title, that would be I don't know who it would have been, but she should have at least won the match. This match.
Well, up next, we have Bobby Roode versus Rusev versus Jinder Mahal versus Randy Orton for the United States Championship. So Aiden English is aligned with Rusev now, so they don't have anything for either one of them, apparently. And there's no Lana, which means the RKO and Roode's theme are going to be the best parts of this match. Jinder has his own special announcer, too. And this is after Jinder's WWE title run, which was 170 days.
This was after?
Yeah, it was after. Then they take the time to showcase the 100 different commentary teams during Jinder's entrance. And it was basically the same shit as the triple threat match, only with an extra dude. Like, two guys would just chill outside the ring while two dudes had the actual match. Jinder tried to join forces with Rusev, and then Rusev just beat his ass and told him to fuck off. Orton RKO's English, Rusev, and Jinder. Roode breaks up the pin. Then Roode takes out Orton with a glorious DDT. Rusev takes out Roode with a jumping super kick, goes for the accolade on Jinder, but Jinder's Aiden English gets involved and distracts Rusev. Then Jinder hits his finish, 1, 2, 3.
It was just kind of there.
We had an Angle, Rousey, Helmsley hype video. Stephanie makes it seem like she's not worried because WWE is not the MMA. Then I guess Kurt Angle cock blocked some sort of contract signing, and Triple H attacked Angle. Challenge was issued. Triple H says WWE is an MMA or the Olympics. It's a different world. It's going to be an embarrassing one. He says it's going to be embarrassing when badass Ronda Rousey loses to an executive. And then Stephanie put Ronda through a table. And that brings us to Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. And Triple H and Stephanie came out like they're in a motorcycle club, except this club is nothing but girls. Titillating, but not intimidating in the slightest. And then I was not interested in seeing the King of Kings get manhandled by a much smaller Rousey.
Oh, I got you. I knew you were going to skip it.
Cool.
So I'll give you a little bit of what happened during the match here. So Triple H started the match. Ronda Rousey tried her hardest to get tagged in. She never got tagged in. Until one moment where Triple H got knocked outside of the ring. So there was no one to stop Ronda Rousey from tagging in. And, Stephanie's on the other side. So if she gets tagged in, it's now Stephanie versus Ronda Rousey. And finally, Ronda Rousey gets tagged in, which means Stephanie now has to enter the match. So she gets into the match. For some reason, she's able to block Ronda's armbar. Ronda tries to put her in the armbar, and she claps her hands and is overpowering Ronda's legs for some reason. Now, I want to point out that I believe Stephanie and Triple H, they were on the cover of Muscle and Fitness magazine at this time.
With Vince, right?
Yeah. So you can imagine that they were in the best shapes of their lives.
Yeah, they were posting, I don't know if it was YouTube video, they were doing social media thing. It was 12 a.m. workout.
Yeah, probably on Instagram or something. Just to give you a picture of how in shape they are. Stephanie, at one point, she does get a little bit of her upper hand over Ronda Rousey. So now she's controlling the match. Ronda Rousey turns it around, of course. And then comes the highlight of the match. So Ronda Rousey, she hits Piper's Pit. She goes for the pin, and Triple H pulls Ronda Rousey outside of the ring. And then Stephanie rolls outside of the ring. And then they get back in the ring, and Ronda Rousey starts to do this thing, and she's loosening up and slapping her thighs. And Triple H, he's looking at her, and then the ref gets in the way. He's like, no, no, no. You got to get out on the outside of the ring. It's an intergender match. you got to get outside the ring. So Triple H, he's the boss. So he takes the referee, puts him in the corner. He says, I got this one. So now we got Triple H, King of Kings, 14-time champion. The guy who beat multiple times Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock,
Undertaker. I'm sure he's beat him. Great Khali.
Yes. Randy Orton.
Batista.
He's beat Goldberg too. So this is Triple H.
Oh yeah. Scott Steiner.
Big Papa Pump. So this Triple H. This got Ronda Rousey, 5'3". She's warming up. But she's the baddest woman on the planet. So they square off. Triple H, she's getting ready. Ronda Rousey, she's ready. And then Fist of Fury. Too much for Triple H to handle.
Yep, I was not interested in watching one goddamn second of
Oh,
that.
it gets better because she gets the Fist of Fury going. The ref has to break it up because they're fighting in the corner. And Triple H tries to kick Ronda Rousey into a cheap shot, of course. And Ronda Rousey catches his leg and then rolls through as she's prepared to now hit Triple H with a Piper's Pit. Luckily, Stephanie McMahon intervened and stopped this.
Oh, thank God. Thank God for Stephanie.
Yes. And then...
Well, she already judo throwed Triple H like 3 WrestleManias ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they've been doing this back and forth for a while. But yeah, the crowd was hot for this whole match. Oh, I forgot to mention this whole time. Kurt Angle was also there. Because that's how this really played off. Kurt Angle was there, but real thing was about Ronda Rousey, Triple H, and Stephanie McMahon.
Of course.
But yeah, towards the end, Angle gets Triple H in the ankle lock, and then Angle slam. He gets Triple H out of the ring. Stephanie McMahon is now left again with Ronda Rousey. They go for the armbar thing for, I think this would be like the 3rd time now. And this time, Ronda Rousey's able to break the grip. The same Ronda Rousey that just beat Triple H up is able to break the grip of Stephanie McMahon and then puts her in the armbar. Tap out immediate, match over.
There you go.
So yeah, I'd say it was a fun match. I would even put it as maybe the match of the night.
Well, that's not a hard bar.
Yeah.
Well, up next we have the New Day versus the Usos versus the Bludgeon Brothers. And this is for the SmackDown tag titles. And oh joy, another multi-man clusterfuck. That would be 4 out of the 5 matches we've seen so far, by the way.
Golly.
So New Day came out tossing pancakes with midgets dressed as pancakes. Woods used the Dragon Zord flute tune to call the midgets, which was the only silver lining of the choice. And then the midgets danced around the ring, and there were pancakes all over the floor. It was ridiculous.
I think the highlight was as the little people were leaving.
Oh, no.
They were dancing their way out of the arena. One does the worm, and then I guess he hurt himself because he was limping. He had to hold on to the barricade to get back to the... That was my highlight, is he hurt himself.
Tore his quad. That's what you
Yeah,
get.
like he was...
Dumbass.
I was like, oh no, they're going to have to like call medical attention. And this little enhancement talent is going to have to get medical attention during a WrestleMania show.
Well, the Bludgeon Brothers take out everybody and powerbomb Xavier Woods against the steel ring post. And yeah, there's absolutely nothing to this match. The Bludgeon Brothers basically kicked the shit out of everybody until Rowan hit Kofi with a powerbomb. And then Harper hit Kofi with a sit-down powerbomb from the top rope. 1, 2, 3. And I think they said New Day has officially descended upon the tag team division while the Bludgeon Brothers were the ones celebrating with the belts. So that was kind of weird. Maybe they were saying it was a New Day. I don't know. It was a bad choice of words.
Yeah. And this was essentially a 2-on-4 handicap match.
Yeah.
This was all about the dominance of the Bludgeon Brothers.
And they were dominant. I think they should use different outfits, though. Those little ballerina shirts were kind of off-putting. I liked it better when they were wearing wife beaters and shit.
Yeah. But if I remember correctly, they didn't have a long run, so.
No, not at all. Well, up next we have John Cena coming out to the ring. Then a referee comes out to the ring. He says something that makes Cena start to walk back to the entrance ramp. He's all sad. Then the lights go off. And out comes Elias playing his fucking guitar. He asked the crowd if they were expecting somebody else. He's like, but that somebody else doesn't have the athletic talent and charisma that Elias possesses. The fans tell Elias he sucks. Elias chases Cena out of the ring and sings a song. After the song, Cena hits Elias with 5 moves of doom. Then Cena's music plays and he's sad again. Then Cena walks up the entrance ramp a second or third time, I forget. His music stops, lights go off, smoke starts to creep down the entrance ramp. A spotlight shines over the ring, and all of Undertaker's gear is in the middle of it. Then lightning hits Undertaker's shit, and the lights go off, and it's all gone. Then Undertaker's music plays, and he makes his entrance. And I guess through all that, Cena ran back to the ring at some point. And then Taker just beat the shit out of Cena. He squashed him like a bug, and he hit the tombstone 1, 2, 3. I think Cena got a belly to back suplex in as his only offense.
Yeah, I don't recall. Maybe, yeah, he did like one move because I think the Undertaker sat up at some point.
Yeah, he did the belly to back suplex, and he was going to go for the 5-knuckle shuffle.
Yeah. So if he was going to sit up, that means he had to be down. But yeah, this was pretty much a squash.
So weeks of calling the Undertaker out, only to get your ass kicked. Good job, Cena. Also, Cena's a giant pussy because it only took 1 tombstone to beat him. Remember, it took like 8 of them to beat Shane McMahon. And 6 Hell's Gates and 100 last rides.
Well, Shane was fighting for the right to be the next in line or whatever.
No. Well, then we have the 2000.
I was just saying, he was fighting for the company.
No. 2018 Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It was Mark Henry, Hillbilly Jim. Remember, he fought King Kong Bundy with the Army of Midgets. I think it was WrestleMania 2.
Yeah.
Ivory for some reason. Jeff Jarrett for some reason. He sang his theme song with Road Dogg. They needed a teleprompter. I don't know. That's one of the things he's most famous for. So you think he knows a goddamn theme song.
Well, Henry had gone to like TNA at this point and all the other stuff he's done.
Still.
He probably actively worked to forget it.
I don't know. I think he embraces it. Spend my days working hard on the go, but the hands on the clock keep spinning too slow. 'Cause I can't wait to be alone with my baby tonight.
It was so shocking when we found out that the Road Dogg was the one that actually sung the song, and Jeff Jarrett was lip syncing like Milli Vanilli.
I know, right? That was such a good story.
Yeah.
And that's when Road Dogg broke free and he teamed with Rockabilly for a little bit. Anyway, some kid got the Warrior Cancer Trophy. The Dudleys were also inducted. They were inducted by Edge and Christian. And then they put some geek through a table. And Kick Fucking Rock was given a WWE Hall of Fame induction for giving WWE some of the shittiest music in history. And then Goldberg was the headliner.
Good for him.
It's all about Daniel Bryan fighting to get back to the ring. I guess Shane aligned with Owens and Zayn in some way. And then Bryan tells Shane Owens and Zayn are going to turn on him. And guess what happened?
What was that?
Well, Shane, I guess, cost Owen and Zayn the titles. And then he said he was going to take a break as commissioner. And then Owens and Zayn beat the shit out of Shane. And then Daniel Bryan fires them. And then they beat his ass. And then in true wrestling fashion, Bryan and Shane challenge Owens and Zayn to a match instead of calling the cops. And if Zayn and Owens win, they're reinstated.
Good for them, maybe.
So we get Killer Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And again, if Owens and Zayn win, they get their jobs back. So Owens and Zayn attack Bryan and Shane from behind during their entrance. Bryan's taken out with a hell of a kick on the floor and then an apron powerbomb. So it's basically a handicap match. And this is Killer Shane. So he beats the fuck out of Owens and Zayn effortlessly at first. And he would have had them if he wasn't wrestling with an umbilical hernia. So Owens and Zayn beat the fuck out of Shane for a while. They make sure to stomp repeatedly on his stomach. Shane eventually fights back, hits a coast to coast on Zayn. Hernia be damned. Owens comes in, hits Shane with a standing senton and a swanton off the top rope. Looks like Shane's done for, but Daniel Bryan comes out of nowhere. He saves him. And Shane gets the hot tag and he beats the shit out of Owens and Zayn. And Bryan lines Zayn up for the running knee. Owens grabs Bryan's foot in the corner and then Zayn comes in with a hell of a kick. But it's only a 2 count, of course, because it's a finishing move. Why would it finish the match? Owens gets tagged in, hits Bryan with a pop-up powerbomb. That too got kicked out of. And Owens tags in Sami, goes after Shane, who's climbing the apron. And Shane rope-a-dopes Owens, takes him out with a splash from the apron. And Zayn wails on Bryan with lots of punches, but then Bryan just stops selling all of a sudden. And he does his yes kicks, hits the running knee, locks Sammy in the label lock for the tap out. And then Shane and Bryan celebrated after. And then Bryan's Bella was there. I will say I like how they played up the injury.
Yeah, I remember watching this live, and it's like Shane McMahon sure is holding his own against them. But yeah, the injury angle was good.
Well, then they announced the attendance, which was 78,133. It was out of nowhere. See, we don't know what fucking time it is, New Day. Next, there's a girls' match video package. Nia and Alexa were friends. Now they're not. They did this deal where Alexa talks shit on camera. Nia found out about it, set up an angle for this stupid match for the girl title that Charlotte didn't win. So, 5 foot, 100-pound Alexa Bliss is the heel, and 6 foot, 255-pound fucking Nia Jax is the babyface.
Well, you see, as mentioned in the video package, Alexa Bliss is the young, well, I don't know about young, but she's the pretty girl. And everybody wants to be like her because she's skinny. You see, Nia Jax is super fat and ugly. For some reason, Mickey James was part of this.
I didn't notice that, yeah.
So that's why Nia Jax was the sympathetic baby faces, because she represents all the girls out there who get made fun of for not having the body type of a goddess.
Okay. Well, it took 10 minutes for Nia Jax to beat Alexa Bliss with a top rope Samoan drop. And then we were supposed to be happy for Nia while she sobbed in the ring holding the glorified paperweight they called a title belt. And then they tried to say Alexa was a bully and Nia got her revenge and should be respected because she's a land whale. And yeah, women's wrestling's garbage.
I'd be lying to you if I said I watched this match. Because, yeah, I just couldn't do it. This Alexa Bliss, the goddess Alexa Bliss, it's just not believable that she's going to beat Nia Jax. Or even it'd be other than her getting her ass thrown around.
Right?
So yeah, I wasn't going to sit there and watch a competitive match between Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax.
Well, then when Styles and Nakamura had a hype video, they were both decorated wrestlers who had a similar career, and they faced each other before in Japan. And there's mutual respect, but both are confident they can walk away as champion. And they both teased hitting each other with their finisher, only to stop short and pat the other on the head like a puppy. I think The Rock and Stone Cold may have done that. Or Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Anyway, we get Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. I'm not going to lie, the guitar riff during Nakamura's entrance gave me goosebumps. I was about to shit all over it, but oh man.
This was definitely the rock star entrance of old Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah, it was when he was Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I believe that jacket he was wearing was an ode to Michael Jackson Thriller. Yeah, so before they ruined him, that's what we used to have as Shinsuke.
That's what I wrote down. It was nice seeing Nakamura taken seriously before he becomes another warm body on the roster.
Yeah, maybe not to be on the roster. That's allegedly.
Well, this didn't pick up for me until Nakamura goes for a superplex to Styles. Styles escaped. He went for a powerbomb, but Nakamura blocked it. And he goes to kick Styles, but Styles caught Nakamura's leg, and he kicks his knee that he's standing on. So Styles, smelling blood in the water, targets Nakamura's now injured leg, locks in a calf crusher. Nakamura reverses it, and he gets a Hell's Gate in. AJ looks like he's about to pass out, but in one last bit of desperation, picks up Nakamura and does a modified FU. Then Nakamura goes for his draping turnbuckle knee thing, where he has him laid up on the turnbuckle and he hits him with the Muay Thai knees.
Yep.
AJ moves at the last second, so Nakamura's injured knee crashes against the turnbuckle, fucking it up even more. And Styles catches him with a phenomenal forearm. He goes for the springboard 450 splash. Nakamura countered it into a pin by, I guess, getting his knees up, even though one was supposed to be severely fucked up right now. And maybe AJ should just retire that goddamn 450 splash. It's been nothing but a detriment to him. Well, then they trade offensive tirades. Nakamura does kicks. Styles does his weird chop things. And Nakamura gets Styles in the back of the neck with the knee for 2. Hits a reverse exploder. Goes for the Kinshasa. Styles catches Nakamura. Hits the Styles Clash 1, 2, 3. And Japan goes 0 for 2 in this year's WrestleMania.
And it should be 2.
And I have to go back, but I feel like the Wrestle Kingdom match they had was better.
I never watched that one. Maybe surprising there. I thought it was pretty good though. Yeah, it started slow. I guess in WWE terms, it was a good match. Again, I would have preferred Shinsuke get the win there, but they had a bigger picture for him, which is where he is now, to be forgotten about.
Well, if it makes Shinsuke feel any better, AJ's not in any better position.
He's a little bit more respected on the card, though.
Is he?
Yeah. I mean, they're building him in a feud with Logan Paul, who they would perceive as one of their big stars.
Well, after the match, Styles and Nakamura hugged and kissed out of respect like the girls did earlier. Then Nakamura grabs the title, goes to hand it to Styles on one knee. And Styles is beside himself and honored and shit. And then Nakamura uppercuts Styles in the balls. Then Nakamura stomps Styles out of the ring, hits the Kinshasa on the floor. And it's like, where the fuck was this during the match? And then Nakamura leaves and he does the DDP sign.
And the shocking heel turn of Nakamura is complete. If I recall, this entire feud between them revolved around ball kicking.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, they recap the kickoff show. Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy joined forces during the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which Hardy won. Cedric Alexander won the Cruiserweight title that no one remembers. Is that even a thing anymore? Is that on NXT?
No.
And Naomi won a Battle Royal that no one remembers, but it has to be even.
Well, it was the pre-show, so...
Yeah, at least it's evenly ignored. Yeah. Cesaro and Sheamus versus Braun Strowman and a mystery partner for the Raw tag titles. Cesaro and Sheamus came out with a fucking Mardi Gras band. Then Braun Strowman came out and chased the Mardi Gras band away with a roar, then pushed their little float off the stage. It's like, what did they do? They do the introductions, and despite their gay little entrance, the bar looked impressive. Like, I like the black and orange color scheme, and I like that Sheamus's hair was three-toned. He used the same silver that Corey Graves used. And then Strowman's introduced, but he cuts the rest of the introduction off so he can talk. He says, I know everybody wants to know who my tag partner is, especially Sheamus and Cesaro. That's why I waited until WrestleMania, the grandest stage of them all. But my partner's not in the back. It's one of you. Then this motherfucker asks who wants to be his partner. I'm thinking, great, John Jones, Tyson Fury, hell, even Steven Seagal is going to be playing wrestler. This piece of shit spends 2, maybe 3 minutes looking around in the crowd while these morons chase him around with their phones. Then he picks some little girl that just so happens to be wearing Nike gym pants to wrestle with him. And that's all the attention I can dedicate to this segment. And then Strowman won, and it turned out the little girl's name was Nicholas.
Yes. A 10-year-old Nicholas won the championship with Braun Strowman.
Well, then we get a Lesnar Roman hype video. It's a rematch that has been building for 371 days, according to Michael Cole. And Lesnar's been a dominating champion with a very limited schedule. Roman wins Elimination Chambers so he can face Brock for the title. Roman says so does that mean Nakamura won the Royal Rumble?
Yes, he did.
Huh. He challenged AJ?
Well, seeing who the other champion was.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, fair enough. Well, Roman says he can beat Lesnar, and he's tired of Lesnar's cushy schedule and never having to show up in, like, Tulsa, Oklahoma for Raw like he does. Roman says Brock gets away with it because he's Vince's boy. It's one thing to be disrespected by Lesnar, but Roman will not be disrespected by Vince. Then we see Roman in Vince's face trying to stick up for himself. Vince lets us know keeping it real got Roman suspended. And then we see Roman enter the ring from the crowd. He does a sit-in until he faces Brock Lesnar tonight. Then U.S. Marshals come out to handcuff Roman and arrest him. Roman ends up beating the shit out of him. And Brock comes out. He beats the shit out of a handcuffed Roman Reigns. I do remember this. And Roman comes back the next Raw, gets F5'd on the steel steps. Then the next Raw, the men's roster are blocking Roman from getting into the ring to face Lesnar again. And Roman says, you full-time guys are going to protect this part-time ass. Then the roster clears the way for Roman. And Roman gets the ring, hits Lesnar with 5 Superman punches. And then Roman gets laid out with an F5. He had the big dramatic speech and the moment where the men's roster united with him and they parted like the Red Sea. He went in there, he dominated the beast, and he still got laid out.
Yeah, this is the major push.
I do remember this was the most entertaining part of the Roman Reigns force feed. He was like, I'm going to do it. And then he'd always get his ass whooped, at least when it came to Lesnar.
Yeah, he did always find himself on the end of an ass beating. And I remember when it happened, it was like, oh, this is their way of getting Roman over, is to get his ass beat. Boy, did they.
We get Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. And Roman got booed heavily coming out. Some people cheered for Lesnar, but he got a fair share of boos too. And Brock hits 3 German suplexes. Roman hits 3 Superman punches. Roman goes for a 4th Superman punch on the floor. Brock counters it with a belly-to-belly suplex. Brock belly-to-belly suplexes Roman onto one of the announce tables, and Roman landed like face first. He flew really weird. They get back to the ring. Lesnar hits 2 German suplexes and 2 belly-to-belly suplexes. And he gets out of the ring, clears off the German announce table, and tosses the German commentary team shit back at him. He tries to F5 Roman onto the steel post. Roman escapes, ends up spearing Brock over the announce desk. They get back in the ring. Roman hits a Superman punch and 2 spears. Brock kicks out. Roman goes for another spear. Brock catches Roman with a high knee and hits an F5. Roman kicks out of that, of course. And Brock hits another F5. Roman kicks out, and Brock throws a fit. Then he does a third F5. Same fucking result. The SEALs in the New Orleans crowd rightfully start chanting boring at this point, and I don't disagree. Brock tosses Roman out of the ring and F5s him on the German announce desk. The crowd starts booing. Think about it. And this is the era where they always want tables. They get somebody going through a table and they boo that.
Yep.
So Brock tosses Roman back in the ring. He hits a 6th German suplex and a 5th F5. Roman kicks out of that too, because why not? At this point, a "this is awful" chant breaks out, and Lesnar takes off his gloves and starts wailing on Roman. And that busts Roman open. No one cared. Then Brock goes for another F5. Roman escapes, hits 2 spears. Brock kicks out, and Roman starts to get consumed with bloodlust. You know, he's all bloody and shit. He goes for a gay super spear. Brock catches him, hits an F5, 1, 2, 3, which made me laugh and laugh and laugh. Think about like Hulk Hogan hulking up and then just losing.
Yeah. And I was surprised at this. I thought he was going to win. And I thought he was, after all those F5s, he's just going to win off of basically 1 spear.
Right.
But no, surprised us and did not have Roman Reigns go over. It's a crazy match, though. Like, basically, the second half of it was F5 kick out.
Spear kick out. Brock leaves, Roman bleeds. They play a shitty Kid Rock song. And then for some reason, they end the pay-per-view with this long-ass shot of Roman limping up their entrance ramp and going to the back. Don't know why.
To gain sympathy, because, he was bloodied and beaten and a loser. So you got to cheer him now.
If you say so. Well, that was WrestleMania 34. In recent years, WWE has gone out of its way to warn viewers that the post-WrestleMania Raw crowd are non-traditional and will always boo the guys they normally cheer, the face, and cheer the guys they normally boo, the heel. This announcement was repeated after WrestleMania 34, but critics pointed out that the crowd cheered wrestlers regardless of whether or not they were faces or heels. And on this night, they cheered for everybody that WWE wanted them to, with one exception, Roman Reigns. So a Universal Championship rematch between Lesnar and Reigns was scheduled for the Greatest Royal Rumble event, this time as a steel cage match, with no justification given for the match. And Reigns acknowledged that Lesnar had re-signed with WWE instead of going back to the UFC, and said he was not directly told about the rematch and alleged that there was a conspiracy against him. That's a hell of a conspiracy, and we would put you in a title match. So after Reigns concluded that he would eventually beat Lesnar if he kept receiving title matches against him, returning Samoa Joe appeared. Joe called Reigns a failure, said that after Lesnar defeated him at Greatest Royal Rumble, Joe would be waiting for Reigns at Backlash. After that, Braun Strowman and Nicholas informed Raw general manager Kurt Angle that they were relinquishing their belts due to Nicholas's schedule as a 4th grader, but vowed to come back for the title when Nicholas was done with school. When Cesaro and Sheamus demanded their titles back, Angle said they could regain them at the Greatest Royal Rumble. A 4-team tournament was determined for their opponents. It was called the Tag Team Eliminator, and it was won by Woken Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt.
The Deleter of Worlds, I believe, was the name there.
Yeah. After that, new Intercontinental Champion Seth Rollins was interrupted by Finn Balor and his smiling ass. The Miz came out. He wanted his contractual rematch at Backlash. Then Jeff Hardy returned from injury. He teamed with Rollins and Balor, and they faced Miz and the Miztourage, and they won. Following week, Miz was traded to SmackDown, splitting him from the Miztourage, who remained on Raw. They were renamed the B Team. Wonder whatever happened to them. Well, finally, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn appeared on Raw, seeking jobs. General Manager Kurt Angle scheduled a match between the two, with the winner receiving a Raw contract. However, the match ended in a double count out, neither receiving a contract. The following week, during the Superstar Shakeup, Commissioner Stephanie McMahon overruled Angle and awarded Owens and Zayn a Raw contract anyway. So it was all for naught. Then on the first SmackDown after WrestleMania, Commissioner Shane McMahon announced that Daniel Bryan, now a full-time wrestler on the SmackDown brand, resigned as general manager. And he introduced Paige, who retired from in-ring competition from the previous night on Raw due to injuries, as Bryan's successor. Paige then scheduled a match between Daniel Bryan and WWE champion AJ Styles. Shinsuke Nakamura, who issued a mocking apology for attacking Styles, attacked both Bryan and Styles during their match. And then the following week, a rematch between Styles and Nakamura for the championship was scheduled for the Greatest Royal Rumble. And after that, the Usos earned a SmackDown tag title match against the Bludgeon Brothers at the Greatest Royal Rumble, and they defeated New Day to earn the title opportunity. I don't know if they won the tag titles or not. Also, Randy Orton defeated Bobby Roode and Rusev in a triple threat to earn a U.S. title championship rematch. That is, WrestleMania 34. Next up is WrestleMania 35. It's in MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The main event is Seth's husband, Ronda Rousey, and Charlotte Flair in a triple threat match for the girls' belts. So you're going to have to tell us all about that.
The main event.
But first, we have WCW's Halloween Havoc 1998, which took place in the MGM Grand Garden Arena in the Las Vegas suburb of Paradise, Nevada. Apparently, it was for the third consecutive year. The event is notable for Hollywood Hogan versus The Warrior, which is considered one of the worst matches of all time.
Oh. Well, why'd you tell me that? You know, I was thinking about it. WCW doesn't really do the hocus pocus stuff.
Not well.
Well, they used to do it, like back when you had the Taskmaster and whatever that monstrosity was.
Yeah, but it was hokey and very stagey.
Remember the Grandmaster guy or whatever?
Yeah.
And, Shockmaster. So, yeah, when they tried to step out on and do, like, hocus pocus stuff, it didn't work for WCW. And that's what's wrong already, I see, with what the Warrior's doing. Like, him appearing in that War Games, it was so out of place that the fact that smoke came out and then he was there and then he got beat up and then smoke came out and then he was in the entrance.
Was also notable for Goldberg versus DDP for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, and this is considered one of the greatest WCW matches of all time.
Oh.
So a yin and yang.
Yeah, we're going to have both sides of the coins on one show.
Other matches that stick out were Sting versus Bret Hart for the WCW US title. We also have Kevin Nash versus Scott Hall for nothing. And then Raven versus Chris Jericho for the WCW TV title.
Overall, it does sound like a good card. I'll be the judge on Hogan versus the Warrior. I already don't expect it to be a Mac classic. And funny thing, I actually saw a post on this earlier. It's like, oh, which one was worse? Hulk Hogan no-selling Macho Man's elbow drop or Ultimate Warrior no-selling Triple H's pedigree? And that's actually both of their characters was to, gain whatever they gain from the fans. Gain power. And not to be forgotten, though, was also Tatanka. He gained power, too, when he started that little Indian.
Yeah.
Can I say that? Native American.
We say Indian here on the show.
Native American dance.
I'll just add in Indian. I'll dub it in.
You'll fix it.
Yeah.